Welcome, everybody. After a short while, once again we are here to continue our syllabus of history. Till now, we have read how France became constitutional monarch from absolute monarchy. So, till now, we have read that the revolution of 1789, after the revolution of 1789, France became constitutional monarch. New assembly draw a constitution, and according to that constitution, France, a new administrative system was established, and from absolute monarchy, the transition occurred to constitutional monarch. Now, we are going to see how from constitutional monarch, France become a republic. So, actually, the history of transition from absolute monarchy to constitutional monarch we have read, and now we have to read how from constitutional monarch France become republic, and after that from republic to directory rule, and after that from directory rule to dictatorship. So actually we are in the second transitional phase in the history of France, when France will become from constitutional monarch to republic. So actually till now we know the outbreak of the revolution and the establishment of the constitution. So actually two things more we will have to read here before discussing that how France become a republic. So we will have to discuss about in brief about declaration of right to man and citizen, and after that the allegory that was made by French artist. Good morning everybody, and welcome you all to this part 5 of the video lesson French Revolution. In this video we will begin from declaration of right to man and citizen. Actually one of the revolutionary document, it was considered one of the revolutionary document, although it talks about right to men only, not women, but even though it was considered one of the revolutionary document, because extensive right was mentioned for men and citizen in this document. So actually this document used to say men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Men are born and remain free and equal in rights. That means each and everybody should be equal, no discrimination or no special privileges should be there. No person should get special privileges and no person should be discriminated. Now the source of all sovereignty reside in the nation. The source of all sovereignty reside in the nation. Sovereignty, it is talking about individual or group of individual. That means no individual or group of individual may exercise authority that does not come from the people. That means, for example, to rule the country, this authority should come from the people. No should enjoy this authority by birth or by some special privileges. That means sovereignty or to exercise authority, that should come from the people. The source of all power should be the people. So that means what it is being stated here, the source of all the power should come from the people and not by birth or special privileges, etc. Now liberty consists of the power to do whatever is not injurious to other. Liberty consists of the power to do whatever is not injurious to earth. मतलब लिबर्टी को भी ये डिफाइन किया जा रहा है, क्या लिबर्टी है? तो लिबर्टी ये नहीं कि हम जो करना चाहें वो करें. Each and everybody should have liberty and freedom, but it should not be injurious to other. मतलब हम जो अपने लिए चाहते हैं वो दूसरे के लिए हार्मफुल हो, नहीं, इसको लिबर्टी नहीं कहेंगे। लिबर्टी के नाम पे किसी को कुछ भी करने का अधिकार नहीं होगा। लिबर्टी कंसिस्ट ऑफ द पावर टू डू वॉट एवर इज नॉट इंजूरियस टू अदर। तो हमको कुछ भी करने का, ऐसा कुछ भी करने का हमको अधिकार हो जो किसी दूसरे के लिए हानिकारक ना हो। वी शुड हैव लिबर्टी to do whatever is not injurious to other. The law has the right to forbid any action that are injurious to society. और लॉ किस लिए है? लॉ इसलिए कि वो किसी भी व्यक्ति के किसी ऐसे कार्य को ना करने दे जो कि दूसरे के लिए या सोसाइटी के लिए इंजूरियस हो। तो लॉ हैज द राइट टू फॉरबिड ओनली एक्शन दैट आर इंजूरियस टू सोसाइटी। मतलब लॉ का भी अपना एक दायरा बता रहे हैं कि लॉ का दायरा कहाँ तक है। लॉ का दायरा वहीं तक है जहाँ तक वो किसी व्यक्ति को सिर्फ ऐसे काम करने के लिए रोके जो दूसरों के लिए या सोसाइटी के लिए इंजूरियस हो। तो द लॉ हैज द राइट टू फॉरबिड ओनली एक्शन दैट आर इंजूरियस टू सोसाइटी एंड नो मैन मे बी एक्यूज्ड, अरेस्टेड or detained except in case of determined by the law. So actually there are several such rights that had been mentioned in the Declaration of Right to Men and Citizen. So some important rights is here, not needed to memorize, not important from examination point of view, but even though you will emphasize upon what kind of rights that had been mentioned in the Declaration of Right to Men and Citizen. So actually French Constitution begins with this Declaration of Right to Men and Citizen, and this painting was painted by Lee Barbier. Actually it has its significance nowadays also. So during 18th century the majority of men and women were illiterate. We are talking about 18th century, early 19th century तक की भी बात करें तो rate of illiteracy was too high during that time. तो how the philosophers or thinkers could communicate with the people? Suppose they were writing influential pamphlets or some revolutionary books. So how they could reach to the illiterate peoples? तो एक्चुअली एक तो हम लोग पढ़े कि इनिशियली इट वाज वन ऑफ द मेथड दैट वाज यूटिलाइज कि वॉट एवर इज बीइंग रिटन बाय दिस फिलोसफर वी आर रेड अलाउड इन पब्लिक गैदरिंग्स. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, आर्टिस्ट ऑल्सो begins to utilize images and symbols as a weapon, as an instrument to mobilize the people. So it become, images and symbols become an important instrument to communicate with the people related to different ideas that they wanted to spread among the masses, among the people. So let's read about some of such symbol that was widely utilized during French Revolution. So actually broken chain. So this broken chain were used to fatter slabs को बांधने के लिए, मतलब ये चेन यूज करते थे. तो ब्रोकन चेन सिंबलाइज क्या करता है? अ ब्रोकन चेन स्टैंड्स फॉर एक्ट ऑफ बिकमिंग फ्री, an act of becoming free. You all know about this bundle of rod or fasces. It indicates strength lies in unity. Now a triangle, an eye within the triangle radiating lights. This eyes represent enlightenment, Gyan, or radiating lights. It indicates that this light or these rays of enlightenment will remove the cloud of ignorance. These rays of enlightenment, ज्ञान का ये जो प्रकाश है वो अंधकार के बादल को हटा देगा. These rays of light will remove the cloud of ignorance. Means what? कि whatever superstition or some belief that was not considered rational or illogical तो it was portrayed as cloud of ignorance. So these rays of enlightenment will remove the cloud of ignorance. Scepter, symbol of royal power. Actually, if you will read about Greek heroes, so you will find most of the Greek heroes utilize this weapon in the war. So it's symbolize royal power, scepter. Now the law tablet. So this law tablet indicate equality for all before law. So this law tablet, law is same for all and all people are equal before it. So this law tablet indicate equality of all before law. Now snake biting is still. Snake biting is still or it forms a ring. तो दैट मीन्स एक रिंग का कोई शुरुआत और अंत होता है नहीं, तो दैट मीन्स इटर्निटी, जिसका कोई अंत ना। तो ये इटर्निटी किस लिए? इटर्निटी अबाउट रिवॉल्यूशनाइजिंग द सोसाइटी। सोसाइटी में ये जो बदलाव है ये अब खत्म होने वाला नहीं है। तो स्नेक बाइटिंग स्टिल फॉर्म अ रिंग, सिंबल ऑफ eternity. A ring has neither beginning nor end. So we are going to read that during revolution by Jacobins, this cap was by Jacobins. So red Phrygian cap that was worn by Jacobins in their dress code. So actually it was symbol of freedom. This was symbol of freedom. Now the wing omen, personification of law. So this was personification of law and several symbol is being utilized here. So this color blue, white and red, that was national color of France during that time. So for examination point of view, you will keep these points in your mind. A broken chain, it symbolize, it stand for freedom. A bundle of rods, it stand for unity. The eyes within a triangle radiating light, stand for knowledge. For one mark question, just keep in mind, it stand for knowledge. Scepter symbolize royal power. Snake biting still from a ring, stands for eternity. The wing omen stands for personification of law. The law tablet, law is equal for all. Law, it is symbol of equal law for all. Now, how France abolished monarchy and become a republic. So we already know that till now, from from absolute monarchy, the transition occurred to constitutional monarchy. तो अभी फ्रांस में क्या है? Constitutional monarchy. Monarch कौन है? Louis XVI. Now we are going to read about the history of this second phase when France become republic from from constitutional monarchy. So whatever constitution was made in 1791, it was the first written constitution of France. The constitution about which we already have read in 1791, it was the first written constitution of France, created after the collapse of absolute monarchy of the ancient regime. One of the basic ओल्ड रीजन के पहले का जो टाइम पीरियड था, दैट इज कॉल्ड एंशिएंट रीजन. द पीरियड प्रायर टू ओल्ड रीजन, दैट वाज टर्म एज एंशिएंट रीजन. तो वन ऑफ द बेसिक प्रिसेप्ट ऑफ द रिवॉल्यूशन वाज एडॉप्टिंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिटी एंड एस्टैब्लिशिंग पॉपुलर सॉवरेनिटी. तो चलो अभी तक तो ये हो गया है कि फ्रांस में क्या हो गया? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिटी वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन फ्रांस. Now the situation in France even after that continued to be tense. ड्यूरिंग द फॉलोइंग ईयर। रिवॉल्यूशन हुआ, नेशनल असेंबली बनी, रिवॉल्यूशनरी फॉर्म अ नेशनल असेंबली, दे रॉट अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन and compel the monarch to abide by the constitution and work according to the constitution. But even though the situation remained tense after that, although Louis XVI had signed the constitution, Louis XVI ने constitution तो sign कर दिया था, लेकिन whether he had signed the constitution with his own wish or desire, of course not. कंपल्सन में उसने ये साइन किया था, अपनी स्वेच्छा से तो साइन किया नहीं था। तो वो चुपके अपने पावर को फिर रीगेन करने का प्रयास कर रहा था। तो ही इंटर्ड इनटू अ सैक्रेड नेगोशिएशन विद द किंग ऑफ प्रूसिया, ट्राई टू डू अ सैक्रेड नेगोशिएशन विद किंग ऑफ प्रूसिया। नाउ rulers of other neighboring countries too were worried about the development in France and made plan to send troops to put down the events that had been taking place there since the summer of 1789. Means what? The other monarchs in Europe were not happy with what was happening in France, because this revolution not only occurred in France, its impact also could be seen in other regions of Europe. So as revolution occurred in France against absolute monarchy, so monarch of other region in Europe also now started fearing that in their region also people could revolt. That's why ruler of other neighboring countries too were worried by the development in France. And they also were planning how to restrict the events that is occurring in France. And that's why they planned to send troops to put down the event that had been taking place there since the summer of 1789. That means जो रिवॉल्यूशन फ्रांस में हुआ, जो रिवॉल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटीज फ्रांस में चल रही थी, किसके अगेंस्ट में? मोनार्की के अगेंस्ट में, मोनार्क के अगेंस्ट में, और एक डेमोक्रेटिक प्रिंसिपल को पल मिल रहा था फ्रांस में। इसका इम्पैक्ट जो था, इट्स इम्पैक्ट वाज इन अदर पार्ट ऑफ यूरोप ऑल्सो, एंड मोनार्क ऑफ दोज रीजन ऑल्सो फियर दैट इट ऑल्सो कुड हैपन इन देयर ओन टेरिटरी, इन देयर ओन रीजन ऑल्सो, एंड दैट्स वाई they were doing their own plan that how to restrict the happening in France. In this course, a declaration occurred in Pillinge called Declaration of Pillinge. This joint declaration issued on August 27, 1791. This declaration was signed in August 1791. और ये जॉइंट डिक्लेरेशन, इट वॉज अ जॉइंट डिक्लेरेशन, दिस जॉइंट डिक्लेरेशन बाय हॉली रोमन एम्पायर लियोपोल्ड II एंड किंग फ्रेडरिक विलियम II ऑफ प्रूसिया। तो लियोपोल्ड II, हॉली रोमन एम्पायर, एंड द किंग ऑफ प्रूसिया फ्रेडरिक विलियम II, they established a joint declaration. They have signed a joint declaration urging European powers, urging European monarchical power to unite, to restore the monarchy in France. कि फ्रांस में मोनार्की को फिर से रिस्टोर करने के लिए a joint declaration was really passed by Holy Roman Emperor Leopold II and King Frederick William II of Prussia. और ये क्या अर्जिंग कर रहे हैं यूरोपियन पावर से कि आप यूनाइट हो जाओ और किसी भी तरफ फ्रांस में मोनार्की को फिर से रिस्टोर करो। एंड फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन, दिस लियोपोल्ड वाज ब्रदर ऑफ लुई XVI वाइफ मारिया एंटोइनेट। तो ये मारिया एंटोइनेट के ब्रदर थे, कौन? लियोपोल्ड। तो इन फरवरी 1792 Austria and Prussia made a defensive alliance. Although you should know, Austria and Prussia was not very much friendly to each other. There were enmity between Austria and Prussia. But even though they made a defensive alliance. So on February 1792, Austria and Prussia made a defensive alliance. In April 1792, on 20th April 1792, France, when National Assembly came to know about all this thing, that Louis XVI is trying to collaborate with Austria and Prussia, they have made a sacred alliance. Louis XVI had made a sacred alliance with Prussia and trying to take help from other European monarchs. So when National Assembly came to know about this fact, on April 20, 1792, France declared war on Austria, launching the first of several French Revolutionary War. Now this Revolutionary War also was very important. This war were considered by the people of France as war between the aristocrat, the kings, the monarch and the people. And that's why thousands of volunteers thronged from province to join the army. They saw this war as a war of the people against kings and aristocracies all over Europe. So actually in this Revolutionary War, the people were enthusiastic, people were crazy. They also want to be a part to defeat the monarchy. One thing also is important during this war in France, and it was the song La Marseillaise was written in 1792 by Claude Joseph Roget d'Isle after the declaration of war by France against Austria. तो स्ट्रेस बोर्ड के थे Roget d'Isle, Claude Joseph Roget d'Isle. You will keep only this name, Roget d'Isle. He has written the song La Marseillaise. It was sung for the first time by volunteers from Marseille as they marched into Paris, and so got its name. So actually you also will keep in your mind that Marseille was written by Claude Joseph Roget d'Isle, and it was first sung in Marseille, and that's why it is known as Marseillaise song. So in French, the title of this song is something different. Its English translation is War Song for the Army of Rhine. So later on in 1795, this song Marseillaise was considered as national anthem of France. So it is important, also you should keep this in your mind, that in 1795 this song written by Roget d'Isle was considered as national anthem of France. Now in this Revolutionary War, so as National Assembly came to know that Louis XVI is trying to make alliance with other monarchical power of Europe, had made a sacred alliance with Austria and Prussia. So National Assembly declared war against Austria and Prussia. So this was the Battle of Valmy. It was first, in this battle, first major victory by the army of France occurred during Revolutionary War. जितने भी Revolutionary War हुए उसमें first major ये जीत थी French army की. The action took place on 20 September 1792, and it is regarded by historians as one of the most significant battle of history, because not only this war paved the way for establishment of people's rule in France, but it had a wide impact upon all over Europe. In Austria, Prussia, Hungary, or whatever European power during that time was, all those got adverse impact of this revolutionary war. Actually, that's why historian regarded this war as most significant battle in history. Now, this revolutionary war brought losses and economic difficulties to the people. तो ठीक है, रिवॉल्यूशनरी वॉर में लोगों का जोश उत्साह बहुत ज़्यादा था. पीपल वीआर इंथुजियास्टिक, दे थ्रॉन्ग देमसेल्फ टू जॉइन द आर्मी, they were crazy about to be part of this war. But during this revolutionary war, it brought losses and economic difficulties to the people, where men were away fighting at the front. Women were left to cope with the task of earning a living and looking after their families. Large section of the population were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further, as the Constitution of 1791 gave political rights only to the richer section of the society. So let's see the Constitution that was made in France in 1791. We already came to know that who were the member of National Assembly. So electors is being elected by active citizen. Who were active citizen? The propertied men who could pay taxes equivalent to 3 days laborer's wage. And now active citizen will choose electors. And to be electors कौन हो सकते थे? तो it differed according to the population of the region. 100 to 300 days wages के बराबर जो टैक्स देते थे, तो they could be chosen as electors. Means what? कि those who come in highest bracket of taxpayer वही electors बनते थे और उन्हीं electors में से member of National Assembly चुना जाता था. तो means what? Who were member of National Assembly? जो धनी रिचर सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी होता था. मतलब उस वक्त रिचर सेक्शन कौन? इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट हैं, ट्रेडर्स हैं, बिग बिजनेसमैन हैं, बिग आर्टिशियंस हैं, क्राफ्टमैन हैं. तो एक्चुअली दिस propertied men, prosperous people, we are not very sensible towards the needs, aspirations, demands of the common people, of poor peasants, of poor workers. They were not very much emphatic about their condition. They were not very careful about their condition. So actually, what would have been in the mind of those poor people, common people? Why they have revolted? To improve their life condition. But they were saying that not much different occurred in their life condition. So whatever this new constitution of 1791 gave political rights, but it gave political rights to only richer section of the society. And that's why the common people, poor peasants, thought that revolution need to be carried further. Revolution did not come to an end. It needs to be carried further. So that's why political clubs, for such kind of political gossip, क्या होना चाहिए, क्या हो रहा है, तो इस तरह के political gossips के लिए many political clubs begin to be established in France and also in other regions also, not only in France, but here we are reading about France. So political clubs become an important rallying point of people who wish to discuss government policies and plan their own forms of action. So that means several political organization begins to be established to discuss about the political issues, about the government planning, projections, policies, what they are doing, what they are not doing. तो such political club extensively begins to be open up in France. But जितने भी political clubs खोले गए, one of the political club that become eminent, popular, and one of the most popular political club during that time, it was Jacobin Club. तो बहुत सारे पॉलिटिकल क्लब तो इस्टेब्लिश किए गए, बट जितने भी पॉलिटिकल क्लब इस्टेब्लिश किए गए थे उनमें सबसे प्रोमिनेंट, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट पॉलिटिकल क्लब, पॉपुलर पॉलिटिकल क्लब, फेमस पॉलिटिकल क्लब वाज जैकोबिन्स. तो जैकोबिन क्लब बिगिन टू बी सेट अप इन फ्रांस, और इसी तर्ज पे सिर्फ फ्रांस में नहीं, यूरोप के दूसरे जगहों में भी जैकोबिन क्लब्स इस्टेब्लिश किए जाने लगे. Now this Jacobin club was one of the most successful political club which got its name from former convent of Saint Jacob in Paris. तो एक कॉन्वेंट था पेरिस में, और इसी कॉन्वेंट में पहला जैकोबिन क्लब इस्टेब्लिश किया गया, जो कि सेंट जैकोब का ये कॉन्वेंट था पेरिस में, और उसी के नाम पे इस क्लब का नाम जैकोबिन क्लब रखा गया. द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल ऑफ दिस क्लब was of Jacobins, which got its name from former convent of Saint Jacob in Paris, who too had been active throughout this period for their own club. So this is also one of the important question. Who were Jacobians? How Jacobian club got its name? Now this Jacobins, a large group among the Jacobins, decided to start wearing long striped trouser. They decided to wearing a long striped trouser similar to those worn by dock workers. पोर्ट में जो गुड्स लोड अनलोड करते हैं उनको डॉक वर्कर्स कहते हैं. तो पोर्ट में जो वर्कर्स होते हैं, सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ ड्रेस वाज worn by those dock workers. तो this was to set themselves apart from the fashionable. तो उन्होंने ऐसा ड्रेस कोड क्यों चूज किया? इसलिए क्योंकि वो अपने आप को डिफरेंट दिखाना चाहते थे. किससे? फैशनेबल से. फैशनेबल किन के लिए कहा जा रहा है? नोबल्स के लिए. फैशनेबल सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, स्पेशली नोबल्स हु वेयर नी ब्रीचेस. तो नोबल्स वेयर कंसिडर्ड एज नी ब्रीचेस. तो नी ब्रीचेस क्यों कहते थे उनको? उनका जो ड्रेस कोड था उस ड्रेस कोड के आधार पे. तो विल डिस्कस अबाउट द ड्रेस कोड. The member of Jacobin club belong mainly to less prosperous section of the society. So who were Jacobian? If you will be asked this question, you will write the answer. Jacobins were the member of less prosperous section of the society. They include small shopkeepers, artisans such as shopkeepers, pastry, cooks, watchmaker, printer, as well as servant and daily wages worker. So one of the important questions, who were Jacobians? So we will write this way कि Jacobian were member of less prosperous section of society. They include small shopkeepers, artisans such as shopkeeper, pastry cooks, watchmaker, printers, daily wages workers, etc. Now we were talking about dress code. So let's see. These are culottes and knee breecher. देखो knee breecher क्यों कहते थे? तो एक्चुअली इनका जो फैशनेबल ड्रेस होता था, तो टाइट सॉक्स पहनते थे अप टू नी, और टाइट ट्राउजर पहनते थे अप टू नी. तो जो नी पे ब्रीच, तो इसलिए इनको नी ब्रीचेस कहा जाता था. और टू लुक डिफरेंट फ्रॉम नी ब्रीचेस, they made their dress code as it was a dress code of common people, a loose striped trousers, and they also used to wear red cap that symbolize freedom. तो फैशनेबल्स उनको क्या कहा जाता है? कुलोर्स. कुलोर्स वी आर कॉल्ड फैशनेबल. तो कुलोर्स किनको कहते थे? नॉबल्स को. नॉबल्स वी आर कंसिडर्ड एज कुलोर्स. एंड दिस जैकोबिन्स वी आर जैकोबिन्स कॉल देमसेल्फ सेंस कुलोर. तो सेंस कुलोर मीन्स व्हाट? सेंस इज अ फ्रेंच वर्ड दैट मीन्स विदाउट. तो विदाउट फैशनेबल, मतलब ये फैशनेबल थे कुलोर्स और ये सेंस कुलोर थे. तो दैट मीन्स विदाउट कुलोर्स. ये तो विदाउट नी ब्रीचेस और ये नॉबल्स नी ब्रीचेस. तो दिस जैकोबियंस केम टू बी नोन एज द सेंस कुलोर. ये सेंस कुलोर किस आधार पे इनको कहा जाता था? अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर ड्रेस कोड दैट वी आर नॉट फैशनेबल. तो जो फैशनेबल ड्रेस कोड होता था उनको कुलोर्स कहते थे, और जो नॉन फैशनेबल ड्रेस कोड था उसको सेंस विदाउट कुलोर्स. तो दिस जैकोबियंस केम टू बी नोन एज द सेंस कुलोर्स, literally meaning those without knee breeches. Literally it means those without knee breeches. Sans culotte men wore in addition the red cap that symbolize liberty. However, so many women also wear sans culottes. They also join the Jacobins club, but women were not allowed to wear red cap. Women were not allowed to wear red cap because still the society was not convinced that women should got freedom. Society still believed that women should be dependent towards their male counterpart, towards their father, towards their husband. So it also could be seen in dress code of Jacobins. So this Jacobins soon got an extraordinary leader. He was a dominant personality, a great orator. Actually, we are going to read about the fact of this person. So Jacobins got their leader in form of Maximilian Robespierre. So we are going to read about this personality and will came to know that what happened when France became republic. So actually in this video we are going to wind up here and we will make France republic in the next video. तो अगले वीडियो में हम लोग फ्रांस को रिपब्लिक बनाएंगे. Now thanks for watching and have a nice day.